I'm actually very delighted to join you this morning. This afternoon to talk about ICT. I was supposed to be here in the morning, but we had several other commitments, and I said I actually must come so that we can share what we have done, how we have done it, and what we are planning to do for this region. I think the whole story of broadband in this part of Africa, meaning the Eastern Africa, started about 6 years ago when we wanted to work together regionally and lay the cable easy. But it never was easy. Because we spent so much money in hotels discussing how to do it. Actually, the time Kenya broke off, we had spent more money than the cost of the cable discussing about it. So we actually said we want the cable, we will go to it. And actually we did it in 18 months. And that was the beginning of broadband. Then Easy decided to create itself, eventually it came. We also got Seacom. In simple language, we ended up having more than 12 terabytes of broadband in the eastern part of the country. Then we immediately, as we were doing the undersea, we did the terrestrial fiber, which we have taken throughout the country. We have done about 20,000 kilometers of terrestrial fiber, but we are still not satisfied with that level of infrastructure. We have now embarked on working on the last mile. Last mile, the way we want to do it is to deploy 4G long-term evolution throughout the country, and also ensure that we have fiber to every cell site. Those who understand this know that if you do that, you get very robust broadband throughout the country. What is happening is that every new application that is coming, especially the new social media, they require so much broadband. Practically everything is going video. Just 2 days ago, I went to launch a school content in Ngong, and when 3G came, everybody was excited. Oh, we have speeds of up to 23 Mbps. But when we played the clip, everybody was frustrated waiting for the program to come on. Then I knew we were in trouble. It is the same way we used to experience. I remember when we moved from 16 kbps to 32, we used to be excited, and that I waited a few more minutes, a few less minutes than I would have waited. So what I'm trying to say is that the requirement for broadband keeps on increasing, and as we get excited with the technologies that we are deploying at the moment, I think we need to be more proactive in terms of satisfying the needs for broadband. I am hoping to stop evangelizing broadband and move on to the demand side of broadband, where we have been doing some work, especially with Keynote, where we subsidized Keynote. I think there are several gigabytes from what used to be 1 meg for University of Nairobi to several gigabytes, and hoping that the universities will begin to utilize this, especially on research. And on the government side, actually, to be honest, I decided to respond to every problem I got whenever I went to look for research in government offices. One of the problems was that you can't get data from government, and yet data is very key to any research. I think since most of you are from research institutions, you know that at least 90% of the future can be predicted from the current data that we have. If you look at meteorological data, for example, there is no reason why we should not know that next year we are going to have a drought, and that should now begin to impact on policy. This is the area where now Kenya government became the first country in Africa to have the open data. But as we launched the open data, we have not seen the demand side of that data. And that is why I said I must come today and quarrel you that we have not seen use of this enormous amount of data that we have put out there, so that we can be able to help government or governments in Africa to begin to make policy decisions based on evidence. You realize much of our policies were made by the roadside, where somebody sees things and they say, I want this to be changed this way, and we want to change that, go to a level where we can do a bit of research and get some evidence before we create the policy. That was the reason why we released data, and we continue to release data to the public, because not one single human being, even the custodian of data in this country, can be able to get the multiple effect of data when you release it to thousands of people. The first week when we released it, we got more than 100 applications. More than 100 applications, and some of those applications will actually impact on productivity, especially on the agricultural sector. One such application that I saw uses the technology of geosensing, where a farmer would SMS from a certain place, and you actually know the soil type around the farmer, and you are able to advise the farmer that what you need to grow there are potatoes, not maize, because Africans grow maize even where maize is not grown, meaning that productivity is compromised. And I tried to find out why we always compromise on productivity. I discovered actually that there is not one single language in the entire Africa, 2,400 languages, that has a vernacular term of productivity. not even break even. If you don't know those two words, break even and productivity, you are wasting your time. That is why there is food insecurity in Africa. Yeah. This is not a sweeping statement like the roadside policy. This is a researched statement that we're having food insecurity in Africa because we're producing things that we are not supposed to produce, and we're chopping land into smaller pieces that are not productive. And so the data we're providing will enable us to be able to be more prudent in policy making and change. And who can do it? The universities have now a chance to actually do this. The entire future, I've been traveling on other issues, but what I saw is that practically the whole future, we are going to rely on data analytics. There is nothing that you, actually, that terminology will begin to hear it in the next 2 years about data analytics, because practically everybody wants to know or predict the future. And most of the Western world, which is moving more into the information society than building themselves into industrial countries, are actually looking at that as a niche where they can actually do much more. So if you see multinational companies such as IBM, they're moving more into scientific, more data analytics. And because I've been a lecturer at the university, how broke we used to be, these things have come around now that we are required to crunch these numbers and be able to provide for better future, for better life. You are going to see it. Insurance companies are going to require that. Mobile companies are going to require that. because the direction enterprise is going is not by using the way we used to say that we want to improve our revenue without knowing which variable you would attack to improve that revenue. I've seen that happen in this country when we kept on asking for money from Treasury. And we decided to say there is a lot of money that is here if we look at efficiencies in government. And actually we are beginning to see, to create those efficiencies within government, which was wasted, especially in many areas like procurement, the lands, whatever, where we have done automation. You actually see instant results where IT has helped to change that. And I am not a prophet, but in the next 10 years, if you don't have content that is easier for kids to understand, I mean digital content, that school will be considered not relevant to the future. We are not going to be lucky. Some of us, we passed the exams because God was there. In the future. Because I recall in biology class, an apple, a plus in between the left ventricle, the right ventricle, and the blood goes through something called a vein. And you're supposed to memorize that. But if you look at the content that is available there for the digital content, you actually see the heart is dissected, you see what is happening. You actually remember the whole thing as a story, a complete story, which means even if you fail, you at least know that blood goes to the lungs to be cleaned by oxygen. As we didn't know, you had to memorize that. And if you can't memorize, you fail. So things have changed. Education is changing, and it's changing very fast. The digital content is going to be very big out there. Practically everything that we are talking about now is going to be online. Practically everything, including broadcast, which they think they were made to be broadcasters because much of the research is moving on to IP. And we must begin, like Western universities have done, to put our content online, because then it will serve to show that what we are doing is original and we know what we are doing. We can be able to find out whether you are a good lecturer or not. I can see nobody likes that, but it's okay. In Kenya here, we want to do more for the Keynote. We have not only provided the funding for broadband in universities, but we have also enabled the students to get laptops under a project we call Possession, where they will subsidize the cost of the laptop. Now, what we're doing right now is to try to find a very cheap cost, very cheap tablet or laptop, notebook, so that we can practically give every high school kid this gadget. It will have a much bigger impact going forward than anything. And we've been talking to various organizations that work with schools so that we can provide such funding and be able to deploy digital content. We're trying also to ask the Kenya Institute of Education to act as a regulator for content, so that the content that gets out there to the kids is actually meets the requirement. But we would still require universities to actually create that content. We don't share content in Africa. If you look at the traffic, IP traffic, 95% is coming from out there. We haven't even started to give the rich content that we have in this continent. We must begin, even again I repeat from last year, that the number of PhD masters, this is what we have. We need to digitize and to share with the rest of the world. You would actually be shocked how much knowledge you would gain by simply sharing. And there are several ways of monetizing this, but first let's put them in digital content, then we debate on how to monetize this and be able to assist in many areas. So I think those of you who will get time, you can check opendata.go.ke and see the 400-500 data sets that we have put out there and be able to see. The area that we are getting caught up also is in storage and also leveraging or utilizing resources. This is cloud computing. We're beginning to see that coming this way. But one thing I wanted to say, which runs through the entire project that we have done in Kenya, is that the undersea, the terrestrial cable, the last mile, we are doing them utilizing the open access platform. Meaning, today, you can walk into this country and become an ISP. This is simply because we want to use the markets to reduce the cost of broadband. It used to be $3,000 per meg. It has come down to $200. And by the time we do the last mile, we are going to see it come down to about $20 per meg. This then now spur the economy because we are very lucky that we have a huge number of Kenyan youth who are into application development, especially on the mobile platform. And here we have had several successes. Hopefully, if you have time, those who are remote Kenyans, you can visit universities like Strathmore and places like iLab, MLab, and be able to see the amount of energy that has been put, especially onto the mobile platform. That has been very successful. And because this is happening, we are also working so fast because we didn't know that we would grow at this level. Because just 2 years ago, we had only 3 million Kenyans using the internet. Today, we have 12 million Kenyans, a huge percentage of Kenyans using internet. That means they are beginning to use it for commerce and other things. So the government is moving forward to build the public key infrastructure and the other cybersecurity networks in Kenya. That is the story of Kenya. I may have left some other things, but I want to take this opportunity to talk to other fellow African countries that let us focus intra-Africa trade, research, investments, because Africa is so large, as McKinsey will tell you. The consumption in Africa is going to hit $3 trillion. Let us take advantage of that. If we do that, then the Eurozone crisis, we will just be watching it, because we will be dealing with ourselves. In Africa trade, you raise it by 5%, you actually make 400 billion. We don't need what we're trying to do, which is very costly. So I would urge you that because Kenya has done its networks into Sudan, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, and the rest, under the East African framework, we have agreed that we do the East African backbone network, which would also link into Congo and other countries, and they begin to share resources in Africa. We have a huge continent that we can do a lot of work within the African continent. We were with South Africans yesterday to sign research agreements, because what happens is much of what we do fails because we don't research to know what is expected in the next few years coming, and we will be partnering in the research in the IT sector to make sure that we remain relevant in the days to come. Because you have kept it quiet, I will keep quiet so that you answer those things.